Hello everyone, here we are discussing chemical bonding. In this video, we will discuss the topic of hybridization. What is the hybridization? It is the process of intermixing of atomic orbitals which are having same or nearly same energy. They undergo a kind of redistribution and they form a new set of hybrid orbitals having same energy and same shape, means equal energy and equal geometry. This intermixing process we can call hybridization process. It is the process of intermixing of atomic orbital. It is the process of intermixing of atomic orbitals. Intermixing of atomic orbitals. Of same or nearly same energy. Of same or nearly same energy. To form a new set of orbitals having equal energy and same geometry. Equal energy and same geometry. So the type of process we can call hybridization. It is the process of intermixing of atomic orbitals of same or nearly same energy to form a new set of orbitals and having equal energy and same energy. And the new set of orbitals formed in this hybridization process are called hybrid orbitals. These are called hybrid orbitals. Generally atomic orbitals, these are the hybrid orbitals, the mixing of atomic orbitals, and normally atomic orbitals we can call pure orbitals. Normally atomic orbitals we can call they are pure orbitals. Intermixing orbitals are the hybrid orbitals, atomic orbitals are pure orbitals. Now some salient features, the characteristics involved in this hybridization process we will discuss here. The main points involved in this hybridization process. What are those main points? So in the first one, so here as we know that atomic orbitals undergo intermixing, they redistribute their energy and they will form equal energy orbitals. Then how many orbitals they will form? So always the number of hybrid orbitals formed is equals to the atomic orbitals involved in the hybridization. So here the number of hybrid orbitals formed. The number of hybrid orbitals formed is equals to the number of atomic orbitals involved in hybridization. The number of atomic orbitals involved in hybridization process. Whatever the number of atomic orbitals involved, that equal number of hybrid orbitals will produce. And the second one, then what type of atomic orbital will involve in the hybridization? As we know that according to the valency bond theory, orbitals having single electron can overlap. But according to the hybridization, orbitals having single electron, even though it is having multi-electron, means both electrons, and even though vacant orbitals also can participate in hybridization. So here orbitals having single electron or paired electron or empty orbitals can participate in hybridization. All types of orbitals can participate in hybridization. Participate in hybridization. We cannot say always a single electron only will participate in hybridization. All type of it may be single electron containing orbital, it may be paired electron containing orbital, sometimes vacant orbitals also will participate in hybridization. The next important point here, so always the central atom will undergo the hybridization. In a molecule, the central atom orbitals undergoes hybridization. In a molecule, the central atom undergo hybridization. And also on this central atom, only the valency shell orbitals can undergo hybridization. Central atom and the valency shell orbitals. They only can undergo the hybridization. And next one, each hybrid orbital, it contains two parts. One is having larger lobe and one is having smaller lobe. And generally they will form the hybrid orbitals. Here each hybrid orbital contain one smaller lobe, means one small lobe and one large lobe. What it means? Generally hybrid orbitals will form like this. So one is a large lobe and one is a small lobe. This is a smaller lobe, this is a small part, and this is a large part. So like this the hybrid orbitals will form. One is a small and one is a large. And always this larger part will undergo the bond formation. So this will participate in bond formation. Always larger part, larger lobe in the hybrid orbital will participate in bond formation. And this point also we should keep in mind. And next, some other points here in the hybridization. Now we are getting hybrid orbitals, that is the equal number of atomic orbitals will involve in the hybridization. Now after formation of these hybrid orbitals, how they arranged around the nucleus, means around the central atom. So these hybrid orbitals can arrange around the nucleus in a symmetrical manner to minimize the repulsions and to increase the stability. So this is the arrangement of the hybrid orbitals around the nucleus. The hybrid orbitals arranged symmetrically. They should be symmetrically around the nucleus. Such a way to minimize the repulsions and increase the stability. To minimize the repulsion and increase the stability. So in that manner they will arrange around the nucleus. And these are some postulates we can say. These are important points involved in hybridization part. Now we will see the types of hybridization here. Here types of hybridization. Hybridization and types of hybridization. In that the first one is sp hybridization. So what is the meaning of this sp hybridization? So one s orbital of one atom, in the same atom p orbital. So both orbital intermix each other and they will form two sp hybrid orbitals. So here one s orbital and one p orbital, and these two intermix each other and they will form two sp hybridized orbital. So what is the arrangement here? You will get two sp hybrid orbitals. Two sp hybrid orbitals. Means sp hybrids, anyhow the hybrid orbital, it has one smaller lobe and one bigger lobe, one larger lobe. So we will get two sp hybrid orbitals. Now these two sp hybrid orbitals, how can we arrange? So these two, according to the last point in the hybridization, that is, and these two hybrid orbitals, they will arrange around the nucleus in a symmetrical manner to minimize the repulsions and maximize the energy. So anyhow orbital nothing but electron cloud only. Always we have to keep the electron cloud maximum away to get the stability. So these two orbitals in a three-dimensional around the nucleus, we have only possibility to keep with 180-degree angle. So now we have to keep these two sp hybrid orbitals like this. So like this you will get two sp hybrid orbitals. Now what is the angle between these two sp orbitals? The maximum angle we have 180-degree. We can keep the best possibility to minimize the repulsions around the nucleus is with a 180-degree angle. So now this 180-degree angle will give the geometry for this sp hybridization is linear geometry. So now always sp hybridization will use a linear geometry and the bond angle is 180-degree angle. Let us take a few examples related to this. Example for this, you can take beryllium chloride. In case of beryllium chloride, beryllium acts as a central atom, less electronegative, and the chlorine acts as a terminal atom. We know that always central atom will undergo hybridization. Now beryllium electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p0. Now we have two chlorine atoms, so we require two electrons to form a bond formation. Here we have the 2s2, it has the two electrons, and we have the 2p0. Now one of the electron will excite to the 2p orbital. In the first exciter station, you will get the orbital like this. See, a 2s orbital, a 2p orbital, they are not equal energy, same energy, almost equal. That is why I am writing little bit upper side this one, and this is a little bit lower. So this is generally s orbital are having lower energy and p orbitals are having higher energy. Now these two s and p orbital, they undergo intermix and they will form two equal energy. Now they will come like this, and they will form equal energy sp hybrid orbitals. So this is one sp hybrid orbital and this is one sp. So total will get two sp hybrid orbitals. The remaining two orbitals, p orbital, they are empty. Now these two sp orbitals, now they will form bond with the chlorine atom. So now we have the beryllium sp orbital. In the central we have the beryllium. It has the two sp orbitals like this. Now these two sp hybrid orbitals, they are having one electron each. Come to the chlorine case. What is the electronic configuration of chlorine? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. Again, to get the octet configuration, chlorine required one electron in the p orbital. Means the p orbital of chlorine is like this. So one is unpaired electron. Now the hybrid orbitals of beryllium, the atomic orbital of the chlorine in 3p orbital. So now electron, the single electron is present in the p orbital. What is the geometry of p orbital? So like this. And the two chlorine atoms, two p orbitals, and they are having one electron. This is one chlorine atom and this is one chlorine atom. Now this sp hybrid orbital and this atomic orbital, they will overlap each other, and this sp hybrid orbital and this p orbital, they will overlap each other, and they will form the bond beryllium chloride like this. So finally the overlap will take place. Now this is a chlorine p orbital and this is another chlorine atomic orbital. So here we have the beryllium, here chlorine, and here chlorine. Now what kind of interaction here, overlapping? This is spp overlapping, and here again spp means sp hybrid orbital of beryllium and p orbital of chlorine, they are undergoing overlapping. So this bond we can call spp bond, and also this is spp bond. This is a sigma bond and this is also sigma bond. Always hybrid orbitals, they will form sigma bond only. Pure orbitals or atomic orbitals, they can form the pi bond, but always hybrid orbitals, they will form the sigma bond. So like this we will get beryllium chloride. Next, if you see, we have the two sp hybrid orbitals, the percentage of s character in this sp hybridization. Sp hybridization means it is made up of only s and p. Only two are there. Two are giving 100% contribution. So in that, the percentage of s character in sp hybridization is 50%. This is the percentage of s character in sp. Next type of hybridization we'll discuss here, and that is sp2 hybridization. In the next one, sp2 hybridization. So how the sp2 hybridization will form? The intermixing of one s orbital and two p orbitals of same atom. They undergo intermixing and they will form the three sp2 hybrid orbitals. So here one s orbital and two p orbitals. Total three atomic orbitals. They undergo intermixing and they will form three hybrid orbitals. Now these three hybrid orbitals, how can we arrange around the nucleus in the symmetrical manner? What is the best possibility? The best possibility here is we can keep these three lobes with 120-degree angle around the nucleus. Then only you will get minimum repulsions with maximum stability. That is only the one possibility. So the geometry will get like this. So we have three hybrid orbitals, and these three we should be arranged around the nucleus like this. Now each orbital they are away with 120-degree angle. So here we have one sp2 and this is one sp2 and this is also one sp2. So total will get three sp2 hybrid orbitals. Why? Because three atomic orbitals are intermixed. This is s. Let us assume one px and py. You can take anything. So out of three axes, two of the axes will intermix. Now let us take example for this. Before that, what is the geometry here? See, we have the 120-degree angle. What kind of the geometry we can get here? We will get a trigonal planar geometry. The molecule looks like a trigonal planar. So we can say that always sp2 hybridization leads to the geometry of trigonal planar. Let us take example for this. Boron trifluoride. Here again boron is the central atom. Now the boron electronic configuration: 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So we have the three fluorine atoms around the boron. So we require the three electrons. Always the valency shell will undergo the hybridization. and this 2s contains 2 electrons, and this 2p contains 1 electron. Now we require 3 electrons, so one of these electron will excite the p orbital, then you will get s orbital having 1 electron. Now I will write the p orbital little higher in energy. Now after excitation, the p orbital will now accommodate with the 2 electrons. Now one s orbital and these 2 p orbitals, they'll intermix each other. Now they will form, they undergo kind of the redistribution and form equal energy orbitals. Now we see in this case s orbital having less energy and p orbital they are having higher energy. So after intermixing, and these 3 orbitals and they are having equal energy, a kind of degenerate orbitals. And how many? 1, 2, 3. We have 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. The remaining 1 p orbital, it is empty. Now these 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals, now they will undergo overlap with atomic orbitals of the fluorine. Now see fluorine at electronic configuration, we have 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Now again, as like chlorine, again p orbital, it requires 1 more electron to satisfy its weight octet. Now with the 3 fluorine atoms will make a bond with the 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. Now let us take this one. We have the boron, central atom, and each sp2 hybrid orbital, it has 1 electron. This is a boron central atom. Now p atomic orbital, this is a atomic orbital of fluorine. What atomic orbital is a p orbital? Each p orbital now has 1 electron. This is a fluorine, and this is fluorine, and this is fluorine. So now this hybrid orbital and atomic orbital, they will overlap, and here hybrid orbitals, atomic orbital, they will overlap. Here also the atomic and hybrid orbital, they will overlap. Then what kind of bond it will form? Sigma bond. What kind of overlapping here? It is overlapping of sigma. It is sp2p overlapping. Again that will form sigma bond. So we can call this sigma sp2p bond. And this is also sigma sp2p, and that is also sigma sp2p bond. And this is about sp2 hybridization. Again, if you see the percentage of s character in sp2 hybridization. So what is the percentage of s character? How much percentage it has? Percentage of s character. Percentage of s character. So there are total 3 hybrid orbitals, in that 2 are p and 1 is s. Then what is the contribution? It is 33.3 percentage. Similarly, you can say percentage of p character. So percentage of s character is that much, then percentage of p character is 66.7 percentage approximately. These are the percentages. The next type of hybridization here, we have the third one, that is sp3 hybridization. Let us take third one, sp3 hybridization. How it can form sp3? So 1 s orbital and 3 p orbitals, they'll intermix each other and they'll form 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals here. 1 s orbital and 3 p orbitals. One is a px, py, pz. Again, these 4 intermix each other. Now we'll get 4 hybrid orbitals. Now these 4 hybrid orbitals, how can we arrange around the nucleus to minimize the repulsions? So the best possibility we can keep with 109 degrees 28 minutes. This is the maximum possibility. So the maximum angle here we can keep away with the maximum to minimize the repulsions 109 degrees 28 minutes. So then that will give a kind of tetrahedral geometry. If you arrange the 4 atoms with 109 degrees 28 minutes, you will get tetrahedral geometry. So the lobes will be like this. Kind of tetrahedral geometry you can observe here. this kind of tetrahedral geometry. Then what is the angle between each orbital? Here is 109 degree 28 minutes. Then what is the geometry? The geometry is tetrahedral. Here the geometry is tetrahedral. Again, let us take one example here. The best example, let me take methane. In case of methane, hydrogen never acts as a central atom. Now the carbon is a central atom here. Now carbon, what is the electronic configuration for carbon? 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. This is electronic configuration. Now around the carbon we have 4 hydrogen atoms and it required 4 electrons. Now the carbon should contain 4 unpaired electrons. Let us take the orbital diagram. This is 2s2 and this is 2p2. But we required 4 unpaired electrons. Why? Because 4 hydrogen atoms are there. So again one of the electron will excite. Now it can form the hybrid orbitals. Again I will take the p orbital little higher energy. Now s orbital, it is in lower energy, p orbital little higher compared to the s orbital, almost equal but little variation. Now one of this s orbital and these p orbitals, they'll intermix each other and they'll form 4 hybrid orbitals. 4 hybrid orbitals. Now these 4 hybrid orbitals, they will form bond with 4 hydrogen atoms. We know that each hydrogen atom, hydrogen electronic configuration 1s1, it has only 1 electron. So 1 electron of this one and this one and this one, this one, and they will make a bond with these 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. That we can write like. So we have a tetrahedral arrangement of carbon sp3 hybridized orbitals. This is a kind of the geometry you'll get here. Now each hybrid orbital now having one electron. Now we have the hydrogen s orbital carrying 1 electron, and here also it carrying 1 electron, and this s orbital and this s orbital. Now this sp3 hybridization and s orbital, they will overlap, and these will overlap, and this will overlap, and this will overlap. Again you will get the sigma bond. This is what kind of sigma bond? Sigma bond. The sigma bond is formed due to the overlapping of, this is the sp3 hybridization, means sp3 hybrid orbital of carbon and s atomic orbital of the hydrogen. So this is a sp3s overlapping will lead to the sigma bond formation in case of methane molecule. And next we will see other hybridizations. Now fourth type of hybridization is sp3d hybridization. Means what? 1 s orbital, 3 p orbitals, 1 d orbital. They intermix each other and they will form 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals. So here 1 s orbital and 3 p orbitals. What are they? px, py, pz. And 1 d orbital. Generally here d orbital, dz square orbital will involve in the hybridization. dz square. So they overlap each other. They undergo intermix each other. They'll redistribute their energies and they'll form now 5 hybrid orbitals. Now see, now these 5 hybrid orbitals we have to arrange around the nucleus to minimize the repulsions. So what is the best way? How can we arrange? So we have one best way, that is in the 5 hybrid orbitals we have 3 lobes on the plane with the trigonal planar, with 120 degree angle, and the remaining two of the lobes which are perpendicular to this trigonal planar with 90 degree angle. And this is the best way we can arrange. This is a trigonal planar. One is above the plane and one is below the plane. So here the angle between these two lobes is 120 degree and the angle between these two lobes is 90 degree. So now here we have two kinds of arrangements. The lobes can arrange with 120 degree angle and another is with a 90 degree angle. Now what is the overall geometry, how it look like? This is a trigonal planar and the two lobes above and below. So this is a one kind of pyramidal above and one kind of the pyramidal below. So we have trigonal bipyramidal geometry. The geometry leads here. It is a trigonal bipyramidal geometry. You will get in case of sp3d hybridization. Now if I take example for this, if I take a phosphorus pentachloride PCl5, again in the central atom is a phosphorus, electronic configuration 1s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. Now see, we have the 5 chlorine atoms, so we required 5 electrons, unpaired electrons in the valence shell. Here the valence shell is 3s, 3p. They are the orbitals in the valence shell. In the orbital diagram, this is 3s2 and a 3p3. So we have only 3 unpaired electrons, but we required 5 unpaired electrons. Why? Because 5 chlorine atoms are there. And as we know that 3 orbital also third shell also contain 3d orbitals and they are in empty. From the third period onwards, we can observe the d orbital involvement. Here we have d orbitals. These are empty. Now one of these electron will excite to the d orbital. Then we will get p orbitals 3 and d orbital, still they are having little higher energy. Now this one s orbital and 3 p orbital, 1 d orbital, they undergo intermix. Now they will form equal energy 5 hybrid orbitals with sp3d hybridization, and these are 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals. So how can we arrange those 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals? Like this. So we can arrange like this. In the central we have the phosphorus atom and we have the orbitals 3, they are trigonal planar, and one is above and one is below. And each hybrid orbital now having one electron. Now we have the 5 chlorine atoms. Chlorine atom, it requires 1 electron in the p orbital. So atomic orbital of chlorine, and each chlorine require one electron. It has 1 unpaired electron. Now this p orbital and sp3d, and this p orbital sp3d, p orbital sp3d, and this one, and then overlap each other, and finally you will get the geometry like this: phosphorus, here chlorine, and here chlorine, here chlorine. 1 chlorine above the plane and 1 chlorine below the plane. Means it will give a kind of trigonal bipyramidal geometry. What kind of the bond? It is the sigma bond. The sigma bond is due to here sp3d and s overlap. That kind of sigma bond will form in case of PCl5. And the next type of hybridization, here we have sp3d2 hybridization. One more d orbital will increase here, sp3d2 hybridization. Again the same, here 1 s orbital, 3 p orbitals and 2 d orbitals, they intermix each other. Again one s orbital. Now 3 p orbitals and 2 d orbitals. Here p orbitals px, py and pz. D orbitals generally in case of sp3d2, dx square minus y square and dz square. They involve. Why? Because they have a kind of same orientation here. And this is d orbital. Dx square minus y square means they will present on the axis. Let us assume these are the axis. Dx square minus y square and dz square. Now these 6 atomic orbitals, they intermix each other. Now they can form 6 hybrid orbitals. Whatever the number of atomic orbitals mix, they will form the equal number of hybrid orbitals. Now these 6 hybrid orbitals again we have to arrange around the nucleus to minimize the repulsions. So how can we arrange? What is the best possibility? Here the best possibility, these 6 we can arrange with 90-degree angle. That is only the best possibility here. Now we will get arrangement of the lobes with 90-degree angle. Then it leads to the formation of octahedral geometry. A kind of octahedral geometry we will get here. So here 4 lobes on the plane, kind of the square planar, and the 2 lobes above the plane and below the plane. Is a kind of octahedral geometry we will get here. And here the each angle between the 2 orbitals is 90 degree. Again you can observe only one kind of the angle here. In case of trigonal bipyramidal, we have 2 types of the arrangements, 2 types of the angles. One is the 120, one is the 90. But in case of octahedral, we have only one angle. Only all are symmetrical only. This octahedral geometry, generally it is symmetrical in nature. So it is octahedral geometry. The geometry of the molecule is octahedral. Let us take example for this. SF6 molecule. Again here sulfur acts as a central atom. In the sulfur electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. Again 3 or third shell, it has a d orbital involvement also, 3d0. This is electronic configuration for sulfur. Now the sulfur now surrounding with 6 fluorine atoms, so we require 6 electrons. Only valency shell orbitals, atomic orbitals only will participate in hybridization. Let us take this, the third shell is a valency shell here. Now 3s, it has 2 electrons and 2p, 4 and 3d, 0. How many electrons you require? 6 unpaired electrons. Now these 2 electrons will excite, mean it undergoes second excited state. In the second excited state, you will get the configuration like this. And d orbital, they are having little higher energy. Now this one is orbital, 3 p orbitals and 2 d orbital, they will intermix each other. Now they will form equal energy orbitals. How many? 6 hybrid orbitals. I will get 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals. This is for sulfur. Now again fluorine as usual, it carries 1 electron in the p orbital. Now we can arrange sulfur in the center. Now it has the 6 hybrid orbitals. And each hybrid orbital having 1 electron. Now this will form a bond with the atomic p orbital of a fluorine atom. These are the atomic orbital. And each fluorine, the p orbital carry 1 electron. So now these atomic orbital and hybrid orbital, they undergo overlap and they'll form a kind of sigma bond here, and this sigma bond is the formation of sp3d2 and p. The geometry will get sulfur is the central atom, and here one fluorine, here one fluorine, and here one fluorine, and here one, and one is above and one is below. So you will get a kind of perfect octahedral geometry in case of SF6. And here one more last type of hybridization, that is sp3d3 hybridization. sp3d3 hybridization. So in case of sp3d3 hybridization, again one s orbital, 3 p orbitals and 3 d orbitals, they intermix each other. S orbital and 3 p orbitals and 3 d orbitals, and they are dx square minus y square and dz square and dxy. Now these 7 atomic orbitals, they'll intermix each other, and now they'll form 7 hybrid orbitals. Now we are having 7 hybrid orbitals. Now these 7 hybrid orbitals we have to arrange again around the nucleus with symmetrical arrangement and with minimum repulsions. So what is the best possibility here? That is the best possibility we can arrange. 5 lobes we can keep on the plane with the pentagonal, and the 2 of the lobes we can keep, one is above the pentagonal and one is below the pentagonal. A kind of pentagonal bipyramidal geometry it will get. You will get a kind of pentagonal geometry. Now let me have the geometry like this. So we have to arrange the lobes like this. So 5 orbitals on the plane with the pentagonal, and the 2 of the lobes, one is above the plane and one is below the plane. So this is a kind of pentagonal bipyramidal geometry. Then what is the angle? The angle, the lobes which are present in the pentagonal arrangement, here the angle is 72 degree, and the lobes which are perpendicular to that pentagonal, they are having 90 degree. Again we have 2 types of the angles in case of sp3d3 hybridization, that is having the geometry pentagonal bipyramidal. As like sp3d hybridization, there also we have 2 types of the arrangements. So 3 of the lobes on the plane and 2 of the lobes above and below the plane. Same here, but we have the 5 lobes on the plane and 2 of the lobes above and below the plane. So what kind of the geometry it results finally? It is a pentagonal bipyramidal geometry. Pentagonal bipyramidal geometry. Let us take one example. IF7, iodine pentafluoride. Again here the iodine is a central atom. It undergo sp3d3 hybridization, means it will form 7 hybrid orbitals. This is iodine, and each fluorine again p orbitals. Again they are having one electron, and hybrid orbitals also, they will have one electron. And here a kind of interaction between the sp3d3 and p orbital, and they will form a sigma bond with sp3d3 and p overlapping. So you will get the geometry like this. Iodine is the central, fluorine, 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 and a fluorine. One is above the plane and one is below the plane. And this is pentagonal bipyramidal geometry. So these are some various types of hybridization involved in the topic of hybridization. Now, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.